3 p.m. on September 28th, call the City of Waco Plan Commission business session to order. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the September 28th, 2021 meeting of the City Plan Commission. Before we begin, I will outline the procedure that we will follow for our public hearing. As each agenda item is called, the applicant or his or her representative and persons for the request will be allowed to speak. Then persons against the request will be allowed to speak. If there is opposition to the request, the applicant will be allowed to make a short rebuttal. All persons wishing to speak need to come to the microphone at the front of the room. Please state your name and address for the record. All statements made should be relevant to the agenda item and limited to 3 minutes. If there are several persons in favor or opposed to a request, we encourage you to allow 1 or 2 persons to act as a spokesperson for the group. If you would like a spokesperson for a group, you may request that the group stand and be recognized. While public discourse is very important to the meeting or to the commission, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all persons may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms shall remove from this meeting any person while addressing the commission or while attending the commission meeting. Persons making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks who become boisterous or are making unauthorized remarks from the audience, stomping of feet, whistles, yells, or similar demonstrations. The commission members have reviewed each of these items in a previous work session. The recommendations we make tonight to the City Council will be based on the work session and the information provided by staff, as well as any additional information presented tonight. After completing the hearing on each item, the commission will consider action on the item. The action taken tonight on these items will be in the form of a recommendation to the City Council. The City Council will also conduct a hearing on these items, which will be held on Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 6 p.m. at the Bosky Theater at the Waco Convention Center. The record and recommendation of the Plan Commission and new testimony will be considered by the council at that time. Okay, our first agenda item is we will move into our subdivision items. Ms. Wharton, what's the first one before us?
Yes, Mr. Chair and members of the commission, this is a public hearing on the following subdivision plat. Preliminary plat of the Liberty Oaks Edition, and city staff does recommend approval of this plat.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on the item? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the item, or anybody who would like to speak in addition to that? Do any commissioners have any questions for city staff? Okay. We'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion on this item?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, based upon staff finding, I'd like to motion that we recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Do we have any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Arias?
Yes.
Browse?
Yes.
Briscoe?
Yes.
Gomez?
Yes.
Grotzinger?
Yes.
Jefferson? Yes. Ramos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes. Ms. Wharton, what is the remaining plats before us today?
Yes, Mr. Chair and members of the commission, this is a public hearing on the following subdivision plats. 1, preliminary plat of the Sundown Ridge Edition, lots 1 to 17, block 1. 2, preliminary plat of the Lake Ridge Estates Edition. And 3, final plat and construction plans of the Oak Bluffs Phase 2 Edition. City staff has reviewed these subdivision plats and recommends approval with conditions.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative present to speak? Is anyone else present to speak in favor of these items? Would anybody like to speak in opposition to these items? Do any commissioners have any additional questions for staff? We will close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve for city's recommendations with recommendations preliminary plot 1 to 4 subdivision.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Can I clarify, is that approval with conditions? Was that the motion?
Yes. Approval of conditions.
Any further questions? Please poll the commission.
Arias,
Yes.
Browse,
Yes.
Briscoe,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Grotzinger,
Yes.
Jefferson, Ramos,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes. Move on to our zoning cases. What's the recommendation in our first case from city staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Mark and Sylvia Ashley for property at 4209 South 3rd Street for a special permit for short-term rental type 1 in an R1A district. City staff mailed out 6 notices and had 0 returned. Planning Services recommends approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings. 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, that the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics in any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. And 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. These findings are required for the granting of a special permit as per section 28-122 of the City of Waco zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on this item? Yeah. Would you like to speak? Okay, great. Would anybody else like to speak in favor of this item? Would anybody like to speak in opposition to this item? Is there any further discussion by commissioners? We will close the public hearing. We have a recommendation of approval by city staff. We will entertain a motion.
I move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff recommendations.
Second. Oh, I'll give it to Mr. There you go.
We have a motion.
A number of seconds. Is there any further discussion? Okay, please poll the commission.
Arias,
Abstain?
Browse,
Yes.
Briscoe,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Grotzinger,
Yes.
Jefferson, Ramos,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes. In the case of Z21-68, what is the recommendation of staff?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Kimberly and Steve Rodriguez Holdings LLC for property at 724 North 19th Street for a land use designation change from urban residential to mixed-use flex and to rezone from R1B to O3. Planning Services mailed out 26 notices and had 2 returned in opposition to this request.
Thank you.
Planning Services recommends approval of the land use designation change from urban residential to mixed-use flex based on the following findings. 1, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for zoning districts allowed in the proposed mixed-use flex land use designation. 2, the property is located across the street, which is North 19th Street, from properties designated as mixed-use flex. And Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R1B to O3 based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan as revised. 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the O3 zoning district. 3, the property meets all the area and width requirements for the O3 zoning district. 4, the proposed O3 zoning is compatible with the surrounding area. And 5, there is O3 zoning across the street from the subject property.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak? If you would like to speak, please come down. If you can just state your name and address, and then address the commission.
I'm Kimberly Rodriguez, and our property is 724 North 19th Street. I just wanted to come and share why I'm doing this. I have no intention of selling the house or doing anything different with the house. I just have a sincere desire to be authentic about what's happening at the house. The property was designated, that house was abandoned for years. It was weeks away from being destroyed. And now that house is a vibrant part of the community. Hundreds of people from all over the world come and stay there. We have 17,000 Instagram followers. She's been in 5 magazines, 3 of them nationally. It's really been remarkable to see what God's done with this little place. But to be honest, it's not really a home anymore. There's 6 feet behind it to the next house fence. You're sitting on a corner, and when you sit on the front porch, the salon across the street is fantastic with the most amazing young women in it. But it's bustling, right? There's people coming and going and parking in front of our house and in front of the business all day long. Across the street is the ARC from McLennan County, which has people coming and going every day. And to my left is the parking lot and the dumpsters of the apartment complex across the way. The bus drops off and picks up there. And I know in the community there's been some friction about Airbnbs and that kind of a thing. And in my heart, I just felt like I just wanted to have integrity about what's happening on that corner and who we are and how invested we are in that community by just being honest about the environment that it's in and the busy intersection we're on, and how we love our place in that community, and we hope that we can always continue to be a part of it. It's been pretty amazing to watch people come from all over the world and love being in Sanger Heights and walking over and going to church on Sundays when they stay. It's been a really amazing thing. So we're not doing it to sell it or to do anything else like that. We're invested in the community. We live here, our adult children live here, my parents live here, and we just wanted to be authentic about the property and what it's used for. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant? Yeah. Thank you so
for your
much.
time.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Would anybody else like to speak in favor of this item? Would anybody like to speak in opposition to this item? Okay. Is there any further questions for staff from commissioners? Yeah. We will close the public hearing. We have a recommendation of approval from city staff, and we will entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, based upon staff's finding these 5 points, I'd like to recommend that a motion to recommend approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Mr. Smith, I saw. And we have any further discussion? Please poll the commission.
Arias,
Yes.
Browse,
Yes.
Briscoe,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Grotzinger,
Yes.
Jefferson, Ramos,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vickers, Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can I say one thing on that real quick? I'm sorry, I wanted to say though, Ms. Rodriguez, it is a beautiful home in the neighborhood. We've enjoyed the house. I personally live in the neighborhood, so we've enjoyed the upkeep of the home, the management of it, and just to see the visitors that do come. So, thank you.
Ms. Warden, in the case of Z-21-68, what's the recommendation of staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Zachary Garrick on behalf of Zeta Garrick Properties LLC and Jacob J. Garrick for property at 602 South 10th Street and 916 Clay Avenue to rezone from O2 to C2. We mailed out 45 notices and had 0 returned on this request. And planning staff has received a request from the applicant to withdraw this request, and staff does recommend approval of the withdrawal.
Thank you. We'll open our public hearing. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on the item? Anyone in favor here to speak? Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. The applicant has requested a withdrawal, so we'll entertain a motion on this item.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the withdrawal.
We have a motion by Mr. Arias, second by Mr. Vickers of withdrawal. Any further discussion? Please poll the commission.
Arias,
Yes.
Browse,
Yes.
Briscoe,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Grotzinger,
Yes.
Jefferson, Ramos,
Yes.
Smith, Vickers, Harris,
Yes. Ms. Warden, in the case of Z-21-70, what is the recommendation of city staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair and members of the commission, this is a public hearing on a request from Rodaho Inc. for property at 4300 South Jack Colchin Expressway for the approval of a final PUD plan. Planning Services mailed out 12 notices and had 0 returned on this request. Planning Services recommends approval of the final PUD based on the following findings and conditions. The findings are that the final PUD plan is consistent with the approved concept PUD plan, conditions of the approved concept PUD plan, and the requirements of the PUD ordinance, and 2, the circulation plan, public facilities and services plan, preliminary architectural plan, and site development and landscaping plan included in the final PUD are adequate. And the conditions are: 1, at time of development, full building plans must be submitted meeting all City of Waco development requirements, including but not limited to the following: applicable building codes, site grading and drainage, parking, signage, vehicle or pedestrian access and circulation, landscaping, refuse location and access, and fire protection location and access. Building permits will not be issued until full compliance with all development standards of the City of Waco and the approved PUD plans. 2, the property must be platted meeting requirements of the PUD and subdivision ordinance before the issuance of building permits. Off-site sewer extension and easement dedication shall be required. 3, the entrance-only driveway off South New Road shall be vacated and removed when the proposed road extension through the adjacent Thanksgiving Park development is constructed. If the road extension remains private, an acknowledgement agreement shall be established with the adjacent property owner of the Thanksgiving Park development regarding a future connection to South New Road. 4, hours of operation shall be limited to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and 5, gates shall be installed at entrances and exits and shall be closed when the truck wash is not open for business.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak? Thank you. Now, approach the microphone and state your name and address your statement to the commission.
Hi, my name is David Grash. I'm the president of Rodajo Incorporated out of Mount Alba, Texas. And I don't really have a statement. I just want to make myself available if any members had any questions for me regarding this development.
Any questions for Mr. Grash? All right.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the agenda item? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the agenda item? Okay, we will close the public hearing. Is there any further discussion by the commission? Okay, we'll entertain a motion on this item.
I move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Briscoe. Any further discussion? Please poll the commission.
Harries,
Yes.
Browse,
Yes.
Briscoe,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Grotzinger,
Yes.
Jefferson,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vickers, Harris,
Yes.
Concludes our primary agenda items. We have one final item. We have a couple of our commissioners who are rotating off. Mr. Arias, Mr. Gomez, and Mr. Gretzinger have spent a variety of times serving on this commission, and we would just like to say thank you for serving on it, your input on it. I know for the rest of the commission, for staff, appreciate your work here and frankly building up and helping Waco be better. So we've got the staff has some gifts for y'all. If y'all want to come up and receive those, I'll hand these to you guys. All right. There you go, sir. Thank you, Ross. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. There you go. Absolutely. All right. Give a round of applause for these guys. Excellent. Okay. Well, if you have been paying attention to the agenda, item D, we will be delaying until next meeting, and so that adjourns our meeting for this evening. Y'all have a wonderful evening.